got a question here from Remington Maxwell over on YouTube.
Remington Maxwell. Dun, dun, dun.
That is my favorite viewer name.
Absolutely the best.
He was the other day. I really hope that's his real name, and if not, you need to change your name to Remington Maxwell. That is that freaking secret agent name if there.
And he's got to wear a tuxedo all the time. Or Prince Charlie all the time.
Yes.
So I hope you guys are ready to give him some dating advice.
Uh-oh.
Says, any new accessories
Came
that
to
I...
the
With a
wrong
name
place.
like Remington Maxwell, you should not need dating advice. You should just have my name is Remington Maxwell and the ladies fawn over you. Period. That's my dating advice.
Okay, go ahead.
Any new accessories that I can use to push me over the top, peacocking, as it were, while dating, besides the basics? How can he kick his gear up to the
Where's
next
Sean
level?
Smith when we need him? Well, I don't know what you currently have, Remy. May I call you Remy? So it's a little hard to give you precise advice.
Yeah.
I think everyone's crazy about a well-dressed man, so it's not necessarily buying a certain thing as it would be making sure that it's all put together perfectly. I'm a big one for color matching and playing around with color. I mean, like, I will go down to the point of having cufflinks that if I'm wearing a red, like when we marched in New York City, I made sure I have these antique, red glass cufflinks because the red was perfect with the red in the tartan, so it's those little details that your date will often pick up on. Thinking you have to have one thing, that's probably not how you're thinking, but if you think you have to have like one fancy thing, that's like the guy with the sports car, it's like, screw that, go for smart and sharp, not over the top.
Yes, and to go further, you're exactly in line with what I was thinking. It's all about the details, not just the cufflinks, but personal details. If you have hair, some of us are more blessed than others. If you have hair, making sure it is styled neatly and in a I'm trying to think of like the way I don't know how the hell to describe it. Just
what are you talking about?
A good, a good classy hairstyle. Think like Don Draper, like, a good, nice hairstyle. If you have a beard, make sure it's a nicely trimmed beard or a fashionably trimmed beard. If you have a, like cufflinks, if you have a fancy, a particular, style tie tack on your tie, like whatever it is, make sure you're paying attention to the little tiny details and setting yourself apart in the details and showing that you care about little tiny things, so that it's I don't know, it's better received. If you try to look too ubiquitous and I won't say sloppy, but if you're not paying attention to the little details, then you're gonna look less overall. Like making sure your eyebrows, you don't have like 27 different flyaways. Make sure your nose hairs aren't coming down to here.
Eyebrow.
Make sure you're trimming your ear hairs. It's personal hygiene as well as.
You don't know how old this person is.
I know, but I know, I don't care. I'm giving it for everyone to heed this sage advice of mine. But paying attention to the details in the outfit, making sure that if you have a dress shirt, the buttons are in line with the front line of the kilt, making sure your belt buckle is dead center on the tartan or on your pants if you're wearing pants, making sure that the sporran is centered, making sure your flashes are just so. It's paying attention to the details, showing that you care about your appearance and your outfit goes to your care overall. If you look sloppy, people make certain assumptions about you based on your appearance.
See, all those Pelham's maxims that I wish I had memorized are now trying to come up in my memory, but I don't have the exact words. But yeah, it's like, don't dress to impress, dress to fascinate. Do not let perfection become your enemy. There's nothing so boring as absolute precision. But and again, to the details, I think there's one about, like there can be absolute perfection or fascination found in the downturn of a cuff, or a simple thing. I think that if you're gonna have a way to fancy up an outfit, maybe make it something that's a good conversation piece, include as well as everything we just said. But basically, like a cool kilt pin, something that if your date notices and you can talk about it or have a story about it. Pelham says that a gentleman should only wear jewelry that has some kind of sentimental value, because anything else is too ostentatious. So you could argue that, you know, a kilt pin that is unique and interesting and something it's a conversation piece, or the sporran is a conversation piece, or a little detail like a pocket watch or something like that. This just kind of says, they're interesting. And if you learn about it or have an excuse to talk about it, it implies that you have depth. That you didn't just throw on a costume, that you actually care about this for a reason, that you're actually the person who thinks. That can be very powerful. So,
I would buttress and add to that by saying one piece. That is the statement.
Exactly.
Not all of the pieces.
Yep.
Do not wear a crazy kilt pin with an eyeball on it because it was your great grandfather's, as well as cufflinks, as well as a tie tack, as well as a Glengarry with a crazy, hackle. Like, don't do all of the things.
Unless you're going to the Ren Fair.
When it comes to your kilt outfit, generally speaking, simpler is better. But a single statement piece could really speak to that. And I would also kind of say, the other Rocky maxim, art maxim, know the rules before you break them. So if you're going to break a particular rule, know that you are breaking the rule. Understand the general conventions of how a thing is done, and then say, okay, this is the general outfit that you're supposed to, this is how you're supposed to look, and this is the one thing I'm going to do differently. This is my signature piece, or this is my lack of signature piece, or whatever. But you can make it your own. You can make it your own style. But I would say don't go too try hard, over the top, everything as a statement all the time. But understand all of the rules, and then selectively choose how you're going to style yourself to make yourself different.
Yeah. And there are simple, if you're looking to spend money, there's simple things you can do to upgrade what the average person has for their kilt outfit. Get a better quality or top quality pair of kilt hose that, just that like Lewis hose or something similar, that have a really nice looking cuff. Take the time to find online a good color combination club tie. Now that means it's only 2 colors. It's not like the color bar on an angle with the bars, like you see like a businessman's tie, but a club tie. It's very traditional. Tone it with a tartan in your kilt. It's going to look really like you took the time to do it. Little things like that. And if you don't own a shirt that requires cufflinks, maybe you do get cufflinks. Maybe you buy a Twit?
Yeah, Charles Tyrwhitt.
Shirt. Consider buying a shirt from the UK as opposed to the US, so you have something that's a little bit nicer.
I have another one.
I had one more.
Go ahead.
I am a big fan for this purpose of I think like hunting sporran, because it looks really fancy and really cool, but it's not over the top. So it's just that it's kind of a really nice sweet spot for a lot of dating situations. Okay, you can wear it during the day or the evening. A hunting sporran, if you can afford one, is a really nice thing to have if you're looking to spend money.
Yeah, here's my other spending money tip as well. I was against them for a long time.
Bucklebergs. No.
Still firmly against Bucklebergs.
Okay.
Don't wear
I'm
those.
sorry to interrupt. I apologize.
Garter ties.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little garter ties are like have little essentially bubbles or little like bits of thread that come out. They're actually knitted, but you tie them around your leg and they stick out. They're essentially instead of a set of flashes. Garter ties are something that can be different, slightly outside of the norm, lesser used than regular flashes or tartan flashes, and that can add a little bit of intrigue, a little bit of differentness, differentosity to your outfit. So garter ties might be mine. Yeah.
Conversely, I would never wear ghillie brogues on a date. I think they look too costuming.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Costuming / formal.
Potentially. Yeah.
So not my jam. But yeah, I mean, where to begin? Really?
Yeah.
It is an art form.
Yeah.
Dressing is an art form. So
and then finding the balance of the art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Do not wear Axe body spray.
Depends on the date, I suppose.
Wow.
And who you are as a person.
Mm.
That's not the woman you want to date that likes
Fair
Axe
enough.
body spray.
Fair enough.
All right.
Here comes the hate mail.
Exactly.
Well, I met my husband and he was wearing Axe body spray. We've been married 20 years. So
Battle Axe body spray.
the Nordic choice.
Exactly.
I use Battle Axe body spray.
I think my favorite bit of advice that you guys shared is just the really well coordinated colors that specifically Erik called out.
I think key.
Some women are stunned, usually in a very positive way, about a guy who's really color coordinated and really thinking about that.
Because men in this society are not taught how to do that as a general rule.
And and speaking somewhat based on experience, sometimes I talk to couples in the store. And sometimes a woman will approach her and say, I'm so happy that, like, for the first time in his life, he's finally thinking about colors. He's never done that before, and he's looking so much more put together. And if that's an impression you can get on the first date instead of 20 years in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll add one more that I do generally when I'm wearing a tweed jacket and or vest is a tattersall shirt.
Mm-hmm.
The safe option for a dress shirt is a plain light blue or plain white dress shirt. To some degree, a plain color that tones with the kilt can be a little bit fancier. But a tattersall shirt, meaning a shirt with the not check pattern, but
the
stripes,
little window pane
type of thing on it. Usually 2 colors, maybe 3 colors. If you can find a tattersall shirt that tones well with the kilt that you are wearing, that can show a level of confidence in your outfit and a level of playfulness, a level of I'm not boring in the outfit that is difficult to show with a solid color shirt. So tattersall shirts are kind of the secret weapon, I would say, in this scenario.
Conversely, your date may think that you're an old fuddy-duddy fogey stuck in the past and very conservative.
Then you've ruled that person out.
Then you've picked the wrong date.
I love Highland dress. I love kilts. I love dressing up. So I will give you all kinds of ideas on what to wear for a date. But here's the one thing that really, really matters. Dressing for a date is great. But in the final analysis, the date isn't about you. It's about the other person. The best thing you can do to dress yourself up is to pay attention to them, ask questions, take a sincere interest in who they are and where they're coming from. You do that, and you're going to be fine.